Anyway, before I dive deep, who am I talking about attracting unavailable partners and elusive money? Because it's the same pattern. I'm Khaumutse, the human MRI psychic surgeon. And when we work together, baby, I step into your auric fields. I get to know what the heck is going on. Actually, speaking about this, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I just loved how he came forth and just said, you know what? I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what to say when somebody asks me about me and what I do. And the truth of it is, we think that going to school, getting degrees, and all that, it's the highest form of, but it's more like, if I like the time when I was an accountant, if I talk about being an accountant, what I learned and all that, that's just it. You understand? I don't know who I truly am. As in, like, who am I and why am I here? What is my purpose on this earth? What are you living for? Which are the questions that we need to ask ourselves at some point in life when we talk about knowing ourselves. And this is why I'm saying self-love is a lot of work. It's a commitment to the self. Because even some of you, the reason why you attract those unavailable partners is for the same reasons, because you are not committed to yourself. Your prayers, like one of my clients said, the inspiration for this post is what one of my clients said when she sent me a voice note saying, I used to pray and I asked God, I can see that shift in other areas of my life, but I don't understand when it comes to relationship. Why do I still attract partners who disappoint me? And she said, after going through Healing the Father Wound module, I am just realizing that despite having a father, but he doesn't know how it is to have that connection with that energy, the masculine energy. And also, speaking of being raised or growing up with her sister. And this inspired this post because the masculine energy is a very important aspect in our life. And I know as well in the spiritual development, there has been this movement of heal the feminine, heal the feminine. It's like, oh, the feminine this, the feminine that. I am for it. I love that. But on the other hand, you can heal the feminine all you want. But if you are bringing the feminine to the wounded masculine, you realize how it's not going to work, because your foundation is decapitated. I don't know if I think that's the word. That's what is coming to mind. It's rotten. And when you want to bring in a lot of things, you need a strong foundation that can hold whatever that you are bringing through. Otherwise, everything is going to fall off. This is why you hit an invisible income ceiling, and you're wondering why you can't just progress at the level that you deserve, knowing the change that you're making, how good you are at what you're doing. Your foundation is rotten. Let's just go there. And what happens when you just take out everything, and remove what doesn't serve you, starting with your beliefs, starting with the emotional imprints and template that you are born into, including your name. Because all I said, even with the post that I posted earlier about the curses and hexes, you may say, I don't believe in it, but on the other hand, your imprint template that you're born into, your ancestors, your family may have believed in it, and it still affects you. It doesn't matter what you think you know consciously, but subconsciously, all these things are running your life. And speaking of this, it's quite interesting because I didn't intend to go there. But when I connect with the energy as I'm speaking, for those who are watching and those who are going to watch later, I'm being brought into the root. Like, I'm just there by the waist. Whoever you are, there is this pain that you have just by your waistline. And this also tells me how unsafe you feel in your body. And this is also one of the core pillars when it comes to when I work with somebody. Do you feel safe enough in your body? Safe as in, like, safe in your body to be in your body and receiving that body, safe in your body, and also safe on the earth, on the planet, and also safe and feeling supported by the universe. They feed into each other. You know what I mean? So at times you're like, oh my God, my waistline. oh, and all that. And these are the things that if you don't feel safe, there is no how you can hold the frequency of money. There is no how you can hold the frequency of love. And where is this coming from? It's coming from the parents that you were born into. You know, when you're talking about patriarchy, when you're talking about the parents of even the father being more like just a disciplinarian, the one who is just controlling where there is no connection. And for you to survive that, you get to build all these armors around your heart, right? So they're just so high that you don't even allow anyone inside. The control mechanism are just breaking apart. So it's the time you come back to yourself. And speaking of this, I also wanted to speak about the traditional parents of adoption, because at times people, like when we talk about adoption, it's kind of like we're looking at it from probably the modernized one or legalized one and all that. But there is different kind of adoption that existed before. It was not legalized or anything. It was just like natural. Like when I look at the parents that my mom grew up in, where it was just normal that, like, as a firstborn, your firstborn is not really your child. It's your sister's child or your mother's child, something like that. So most of the children, when I look back, like my mother's age and going before that, they were not even raised by their own parents. And then, like even like I was talking to my client who more or less she was adopted by her sister, and many people have the same story. I can't say I was adopted, but on the other hand, I was raised by my sister as well, because my mom was mostly at the farm. You understand? As much as it feels like, okay, fine, this is just natural, but on the other hand, it's like, no, it's natural in the sense of like it's what we call normal, because that's what was happening around us. You understand? But it doesn't mean that it served you. You understand? That connection is missing. There is that gap that unconsciously you may not be aware of because of whatever that happened. There is somebody who has an attachment at the back as well. So this is why, actually, before I even go any further, there is the once-off session. There is a 36% discount, and it's disappearing in the middle of the night. I have put this up for the whole flipping week because I wanted you guys to rise. I wanted you guys to heal. So while I'm speaking of this, I'm showing up here to tell you that the discount is disappearing. So if you are somebody who really feels like it's time I do things differently, because that's the only time that you're going to change whatever crap that is happening. That is the only time that you're going to align with your unique signature blueprint. Because some of you may think that you've been doing the work, but it has been more mental level. There's some work where it's kind of like you're doing the work, but when you look at it, it's more like just working on things at a mental level, understanding them, but not necessarily removing this at the core. This is why I talk about what I do as a human MRI psychic surgeon. I know where that is stored, and I get to remove that from your body. You understand? And going even beyond just you, because at times when you're talking about you, the childhood parents and all that, it's like we're dealing with the branches, the leaves, and all that. We're not dealing with the core issues where the things that were passed on to your parents and they pass them on, and the only way that you're doing however that you are parenting from the same foundation that you were given. Like I mentioned, the enslavement that happens with the whole traditional adoption that we don't speak about. But I still remember when I listened to my mom talking about what she was doing, working hard, waking up early in the morning, and all that she did. She was preparing the food and going to fetch water far away from the rivers. And she was doing this for, I would say, her age mates who were going to school, and she was not fucking going to school. You understand? So I listened to her, and the pain that I felt just from her story, I couldn't grasp it, but it was just kind of like something that was normal. And this is what I talk about when I say there are some families that it's kind of like you are doomed from the beginning. It's kind of like, even when it comes to family family events and all that, your family is the one that is expected to go work their ass off for the other families, because the other families went to school and the ones in your family, they didn't go to school, so they are less than. So this whole enslavement is something that did not end with the, not only from the black, white, and whatever. It's like something that is also within. Because even when we go back into ancestral lineages, for the outsiders to come and have people even from within, is because there is betrayal that happened within the tribes, right? So it's deeper, and it's not about them and us. It's about every individual taking responsibility of the patterns that are rising up, looking at their lives and asking yourself, because we've been the victim, we've been the big victim and the victimizers. You understand, whether you deny it or not, the parents, even when I can go look at the the collective conscious, whatever that we have agreed to at a conscious level, and we can break it down, come into the society, coming back to the family and all that, and then we're gonna end up coming within, where we're gonna look at that feminine and the masculine energy, which at the core, whatever that we see playing out is still what is playing within us, where there is that inner conflict. The masculine, because it has been trained to oppress, to not listen, and it thinks it knows better, it doesn't listen to your feminine. Your feminine is like, oh my God, this is what is coming through, all this beautiful inspiration and all that. And your masculine is like, who's going to listen to that when we're talking about all that bullshit, spirituality, what? And go with the logic and all that. And you see the same patterns that are going within you that are being played out probably by your partner or the people around you, who are just like, get a real job, or what are you doing? It doesn't make any sense, and all that. I received that a lot, especially with what I'm doing when I look at being a human MRI psychic surgeon and being an accountant. When I talk about being an accountant, it's like that's the most intelligent thing to talk about and to be. You understand? So most of the people chose to abandon this truth of their soul because they went with what makes sense outside. And some of you are not even booking that call because you're still fighting with your logic. You're still fighting with the masculine and the feminine from within, and not forgetting even the spiritual attachment that I spoke about, where the voice is not yours. I come across this a lot, and some of you are experiencing this through dreams, where you're having certain dreams that are repeating, and you are running, and a lot of shit is happening, and then you wake up and you're like, yeah, it was just a dream. Hello, hello, hello. Are you being for real? Because you see how your life is playing out. You look at your bank account and you know actually that this is not in alignment with the level of the impact that I'm here to make, the skills that I have, and that some people who really don't show up and deliver the level that you do, but they're getting paid more. And when you go back to the root, you realize that this thing has been going on for a while. So I gotta do something about it. I know as well, just growing up, it's very funny, actually. This is just coming to my mind, and I'm just going to share this as well. Because when I look at the traditional, especially coming from a very traditional family, where farming was a big thing, we grew up, we had cattle and all that. But because of even the understanding of abundance, of wealth, we did not look at what we had and we didn't consider it as well, because education and all that is what was considered, it's like better than. So whatever cattle and everything that we had, it was like, yeah, there are people who are rich and all that. So when you look at it, yes, there is that scarcity mindset and all that, but there's a lot. You understand? It's like they feed into each other, starting with those beliefs, like I mentioned, the beliefs of somebody who believed that for them to heal something, they had to be given certain powders, herbs, and all that. But yet, when it comes to the work that we do, it's just like the frequency that we embody. You understand? When I show up, I'm showing up with the frequency that I embody, and whatever that is needed, you're going to receive it from the light and the love that I'm sharing with you. This is why I'm able to know what the heck is going on with your body. This is why I get to know where that is coming from, what is interfering with your receiving. This is why I get to know what is going on, where there is pain in your body. Like I've helped people heal and cancel surgeries who I've worked with within 4 weeks. So what is it that we cannot do? So you can either choose to manage pain, to manage the problem, which could be whatever that you're doing. Oh, I'm just gonna continue doing the breath work, or I'm just gonna sit and meditate, or tap or whatever. But are you able to go to the core of that and release that? Or you're gonna keep on going to therapy, which is very good because it helps you to understand, but you know where the root of that is. Because some of you need surgery. You know, if you have if you have a broken bone and you go and put a bandage and all that, yeah, it seems like you are doing something, but is it really helping the problem at the core? Like, are you really solving the problem here? No, you're putting a bandage, but you need a fucking surgery to remove that, so that we can then bring in the frequencies that are aligned with your wealth blueprint and your relationship blueprint. And this is why it's important that we work at your foundation, which is the structure that you hold in. Like I said, if you have water, there is water that is just coming through. There is abundance. There is flow. Imagine the rain is here and the sea is open, the rivers. There is flow that is happening at the highest level. And you are coming through with your hands. And you're trying to receive with the hand. You don't have a container that is going to hold that. This is why the money is elusive. This is why you are attracting unavailable partners, because you don't have the container that can hold that, right? The money comes and goes as fast as it came. You have partners, yes, physically they are present, but emotionally there is no that emotional connection. And because you are also afraid of being hurt, and you also learned that relationship, there is no connection from your father, from the patriarchy, and even when it comes to source, some of you, it's like God that is somewhere in the clouds. You don't have that deep connection with God, because the level that you're connected to yourself is the level that you're connected to source, the level that you're connected to God. And the same fear that you have for your father is the same fear that you have for that source, for that God. And you don't want to admit it because you fear that God. It's something external. It's far. It doesn't exist. The same relationship that you've had with your father, where it's like, yeah, it's just the father, but you fear the father. You don't connect with the father. And that's the same relationship that you have with your masculine energy. So when you're busy praying, but yet you're operating from the womb, what kind of results do you expect to have? Just take a deep breath. I'm just sending light to your waistline, sending the highest frequencies for you to feel safe in your body. And as I'm following the energy, I'm going to the heart where there is pain. And I'm also going to the solar plexus where you are not in alignment with your power. So book a call and let's dive deep. You have a chance of getting that 36% discount if at all you are decisive. But I know that the people that are on my space are the people that are decisive, because you are a flipping leader. If at all you are somebody who is afraid of your power, you're afraid of your queen, your king, I don't know what you're doing here. Because that means you are still operating from your shadows. Because at the end of the day, even though I'm saying I don't know what you're doing here, but I guess you are here for the right reason. Because even though you may still be in the shadows, you are not fully embracing your light. You are still the queen, you are still the king. It's just that you've forgotten who you are. And this forgetfulness did not start with you. It's something that has been around for a while, where you have been appraised, embraced because of the work that you do. You have to work hard for you to receive love. You have to work hard and try to prove yourself for you to be seen. But what if you get to activate that soul confidence? I can feel your pelvic area. I can feel the womb dancing into embracing that soul confidence. And when you activate that, you move with the conviction, the knowing that this is going to work out no matter what. And those who are not in alignment, they get the heck out of the way. And those who are in alignment, they come through. You magnetize, but just by your presence. I'll leave you with that. Have a wonderful, magical, and orgasmic weekend.